Hi everybody, my name is Scott Winters, Vice President of Ektelon, and I'm here to talk to you about Ektelon technologies and how to choose the best racket for your game. First of all, material construction is the first thing that a lot of players look for, and that really dictates the price that you're going to pay for a racket. There's various materials that are incorporated into the racket. First of all, at the top end of the line, you'll see 100% graphite rackets. 100% graphite rackets are going to be lighter, more durable, and they're going to give you better performance. Next down from that, you'll see some graphite composite rackets. That could be a mix of graphite and fiberglass or graphite and aluminum. We call graphite and aluminum rackets fused rackets. In addition to that, we've got aluminum alloy rackets, which are at the bottom of the line. They're there for an entry price point type player. Obviously, a lower cost. You're not going to get the same kind of performance, and they're not as light. So when you go to choose a racket, look for the material that you want in the racket. And it's really easy to find out in Ektelon rackets what the material is when you go to purchase a racket, because we list it very clearly on the header card. So we make it very easy for you to find out what the racket is made of. There's a lot of information inside the flap, but right on the front, you can easily identify what Ektelon rackets have in the racket. One of the advantages about Ektelon rackets is that all our technologies are visible in the frame. And I want to talk to you about the actual frame technologies that we offer, and there's several of them in the Ektelon line. And again, they're very visible. First of all, the newest technology that we introduced last year, extreme string pattern. And what that does is it limits the number of main strings across the face of the racket. So a traditional racket will have 14 to 16 main strings in the racket, and the main strings are the strings that run this way in the frame. An extreme string pattern racket, or ESP, only has 12 main strings. And that's going to make the string bed very resilient, very powerful, and very responsive in a racket. So if you really want something where the string bed really jumps, look for an ESP racket. In addition to that, we also have XO3, and you'll see these large O ports, we call them, in the side of the frame at 3, 9, and at 12 o'clock. And what that does is it really opens up the string bed, makes the racket very maneuverable. It's very quick through the air. XO3 has been a great technology for racquetball due to the fast nature of the sport. So those are two great frame technologies that you'll see at the top of the line of an Ektelon racket. Okay, so let's talk about head shapes. There's two different head shapes in the Ektelon racket line. Most of the head shapes that we have are a modified teardrop head shape, which means it's a little more rounded at the top of the frame, and there's definitely more space at the top of the frame as well. So you get more power at the top of the frame, and that's important because of when you play racquetball, the ball gets to be close to the wall. So when you're hitting the ball close to the wall, you're automatically going to be hitting close to the top of the racket. So you get a lot of power in that area. It's also great for beginners because it has a little wider sweet spot. So you'll see modified teardrop not only at the top of the line for more power, but it really helps get more power for entry-level players that are just getting into the game as well. This is a quadriform head shape racket. As you can see, it's a little narrower through the shoulders, and the advantage there is you get a little longer main strings, but definitely get a little more maneuverability as well. It's a little less bulky at the top, so it helps maneuver. You can maneuver the racket just a little bit better as well. So both rackets offer different sorts of advantages. They both bring a lot of power. Modified teardrop for maximum power, quadriform for a balance of power and control. Okay, so let's talk about string patterns now. We've got 4 different string patterns in the Ektelon line, all that separate one series from another and bring different power advantages. First, what you'll see at the lower end of the line is you'll see power fan, which is still a very powerful string pattern. All the main strings still go all the way down into the throat, so you get a lot of main string length. And we do that by having a grommet system whereby a string shares a hole or shares a grommet without sharing the same hole. So strings don't rub together. You're not taking power away from the strings as they touch each other. That's a patented technology that only Ektelon has, and you'll see that feature in the lower end of the rackets, usually in the 1000 or 2000 series of Ektelon rackets. A step up from that is the patented power ring technology. And again, all the main strings go down to their lowest point, and they wrap around this ring that's down here in the throat. And what you'll see here are main string lengths of uniform size. So you get a lot of consistency with the longer main strings. Again, a great power technology you'll see in the 1000, 2000, and even into the 3000 series of rackets that Ektelon has. For ease of stringing and more durability, Power Ring 8 is great. Each ring shares, each string wraps around its own ring in the bottom of the throat, so it's very easy to string. You get a lot of space down there, so it's a great technology for a little extra power. The string bed is a little denser in this technology, so you get great control, great string life, and again, very easy to string. In the 4000 series, it's all about double power ring. So all the main strings go all the way down to 2 rings, which are down in the throat of the racket. The longest main strings, the most power that you can get out of a string bed is in double power ring. And you see all of that in the 4000 series. So look at the string patterns that you see in the Ektelon line of rackets. The string patterns make a big difference. And when you go to pay for a racket, a lot of times, not only are you paying for great material, but you're also paying for the string pattern that you see in the racket as well. Okay, let's talk about stability technologies now. Ektelon has built a lot of stability and vibration technologies into the racket that is really going to help you on off-center hits, and we do that in a number of different ways. First of all, we're launching a new stability story this year in TechStream. TechStream is located at 4 positions on the frame, in the throat area in 2 locations, and at the top of the frame at 10 and 2. And what that does is it just reinforces the frame, and it really sort of adds a little extra stiffness, solid feel, and definitely reduces torquing. So on off-center hits, that racket is not going to twist in your hand like it normally would. So we're very excited about TechStream. At the top of the line this year, you'll see it in all our 4000 series rackets. In addition to that, in the 3000 series rackets, we have carbon Kevlar. Carbon Kevlar, as you know, is a very strong material. It's bulletproof type material, very strong. And we added that material at the top of the frame at 10 and 2 o'clock. And what that's going to do, again, just add more stability at the top of the frame. Most racquetball players hit the ball at the top of the frame, so it's going to be a great new stability story for us this year as well. You'll see that in the 3000 series of rackets. And then in the 2000 and 1000, a technology we've had for many years, triple threat. It's been a very solid stability technology for us, and that's adding extra material at 10 and 2 and also at 6 o'clock in the frame. Again, adds more stability on off-center hits. That racket just isn't going to torque in your hand as much as it could. For vibration dampening, you just can't beat a silencer dampener. You can use this dampener in any string bed, in any racket you want. Just weave it through the strings and vibration's gone. So look for those technologies in the Ektelon series of rackets. Okay, so let's talk about grip size and grip shape. Very, very important that you get the right grip dialed in for your game. Ektelon offers 3 different types of grip sizes. First of all, super small, which is a traditional 3 5/8. Super small round, which is just a rounded version of that 3 5/8 grip, and then large. Smaller grip is going to give you more wrist snap, which is going to generate more power, but you also may sacrifice a little control along with that. So what I recommend players to do is to pick up the racket, just grip the racket, and just make sure that your fingers aren't touching the palm of your hand when you go to grip a racket. If you do, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to limit your wrist snap. So just make sure the racket feels right in your hand before you do go choose an Ektelon racket to buy, and we offer 3 different grip sizes, so we should be able to find the right grip size and the right grip shape for you. So again, super small, 3 5/8, a little more rectangular shape, super small round, just a rounded version of that same size, feels maybe a little bit smaller than super small, and then large for the largest grip size that we have in the line. Not only do we have different grip sizes, but we have different grip types on the racket. First of all, we have the MaxTac grip, which is a very lightweight synthetic wrap grip that goes around the racket. It's easy to install, and it's a little lighter weight than the traditional rubber grips that we have on the racket. The Vision grip, a lot of players love because it's super tacky. It requires a little different installation procedure in that you slide the grip on. It's a one-piece slide-on grip, but it's very, very tacky in its feel. It's durable, and players love it because of its tack. So it's a great grip for racquetball specifically, called the Vision grip, and it's offered in 5 different colors. So keep that in mind when you're going to choose an Ektelon racket for you. Okay, another way that Ektelon makes it very easy to choose a racket is by developing a power level rating for each one of our rackets. All the technologies that go into a racket help determine a power level number for the racket. Another way we do it is we have an independent testing team and an Ektelon play testing team that rates the power of our rackets versus each other. So a lot goes into the power level, but based on the technologies that the racket has and also what players are telling us. And we make it very easy to identify the power level by putting that number right on the header card. So if you're looking at a wall of Ektelon rackets and you're looking for, the most power that you can get in your racket, it's labeled very clearly on the header card. And if you look inside, you'll see why. All the technologies that make up the reason why that racket is a certain power level is all contained in the header card information. So the power level ranges from 4,900, and that would be a racket that typically would cost well over $200, all the way down to 900. So really, the higher the number, the better the racket it's going to be, and the more power you're going to get. So look for the power level number that suits your game the best. So I hope that gives you a great overview of the Ektelon racket range, what's incorporated into each one of the rackets, and why it makes our racket line so great. So think about those things when you go to choose your Ektelon racket this season. Pick up an Ektelon racket and play with fire.